The internet is one very strange matchmaker. It can create amazing and downright strange things. This and this can become this, that and that can become this, and of course, this mating with this can indeed create something as beautiful as this. Everybody out there in YouTube land, Jake of the OneManBand is back again, bringing you guys a RWBY review. And this time it's not about the series, but it is about the upcoming game, RWBY Grimm Eclipse. Now before we go any further, on Steam right now, it is on green light. So if you are interested in any way in a RWBY game where you play as the characters and kick the ever-living crap out of Grimm, I suggest you go to Steam now and vote yes on its greenlight page. There's going to be a link down in the description taking you to that place, as well as an annotation probably sitting up here, as long as I remember to put it in. Now, in case you didn't know, the history of RWBY Grimm Eclipse is one that is very much seated in the fandom of RWBY itself. RWBY Grimm Eclipse started out as just a simple fan-made game created by one Jordan Scott. And what happened is he created this game all by himself, and he stated that it was going to be his last game he was going to make because it wasn't going anywhere. Him making games wasn't really going anywhere, so he decided to make this one last one and create a final hoorah to the game-making engine. So, in creation of this game, it quickly caught the developers' and fans' eyes. The fans of the series of RWBY saw it, loved it. I myself played it once and did a video on it. And, of course, the creators of RWBY saw it, loved it, and at RTX 2014, Jordan Scott himself was hired on the spot to create a full-blown RWBY video game. Now, that of course did not come into fruition until this year's RTX with the playable demo of RWBY Grimm Eclipse. Now, right down there on the screen, I'm gonna show you some footage that I myself captured with my camcorder. It's at an odd angle, but it's the best that I could do at the time. I was standing behind the guy waiting my turn in line to play the game for myself. But what is this game truly going to bring us? What are we going to get out of it? Well, there is a trailer out right now that pretty much springboarded the greenlight voting status of the game, and I suggest you check it out now in any case you haven't. But I'm going to talk about what the trailer shows and what the trailer tells us. So the trailer pretty much states and thrusts in your face that this game is meant to be played with friends. The very first thing it states is that it is a 4-player co-op game. And does that mean that you're gonna have to be playing with people? I'm not sure. I do believe that in some cases, you are going to be able to solo play it, but this is RWBY. It is meant to be played with 3 other teammates to create a full-fledged team. That way you have the entirety of Team RWBY down there on the battlefield destroying creatures of Grimm. It's also stated in the description of the game that it's meant to have a Dynasty Warriors and Left 4 Dead feel, as in Dynasty Warriors, where you play as the grand big hero and you just slice down waves of enemy grunts and you just feel super empowered. And yes, there's that one enemy hero that you have to fight and you actually have to concentrate on fighting, but for the most part you're just this uber powerful guy who's mowing down all these enemies. And then Left 4 Dead, as in it's going to focus a lot on teamwork, where you're going to have to look after your team and work together in order to survive to the end of the mission. It states that it's going to have MOBA-like micro-progression. Now, there's two things that can mean. One, you choose your character that you play as, and when you play as that character, you have a certain set of skills that you choose to equip to the character, and the more you play, the more it can rank up. But honestly, that feels more like an RPG. I believe when it's talking about MOBA micro progression is that while you're playing, like just that one mission, you level up and you unlock more abilities the further you get into the mission. This would really work due to the fact that you may not always be playing as Weiss. You may play as Yang or Blake during a part, because what if you're tasked to be playing as a character who isn't leveled up or something like that? That's why I believe every single character is going to be base. They're going to have their base sets and powers, but as you go through a mission, you're going to progress with that character and they'll get stronger as the round goes on. Sort of like the leveling system in League of Legends, if you will. How each character, they have their set of skills, but you can only unlock those set of skills as you play and gain experience. And as you play and gain experience and go up in levels, you can bolster and boost those certain skills that you really want. That way you can be devastating in the late game. Another thing that it states is that it's going to have a unique storyline. Now, this probably means and does mean that it isn't going to be taking place during Volume 1 or Volume 2. It is not. We're not going to be getting those iconic missions. I mean, maybe as a side op, but not part of the main storyline where you're going to be taking part in battles that happened in the show. No, this is an entirely new story. Now, I'm not saying that it's probably going to be a parallel story where it doesn't tie into the series. It probably may, and it probably will. What I believe is that this storyline for Grimm Eclipse is going to take place between Volumes 1 and Volume 2. That way, we kind of get to see how RWBY did during that time, because some time passed between those two volumes. So this way, we'll be able to learn about the characters, and the game won't be stuck in the strict confines of having to fit into the story, you know, perfectly if it was taking place during the other volumes. I personally think this is great, and it can expand on the series a lot. And they even stated at the RTX panel, where the developers and creators of this game had their own panel, they stated that some things may be in this game that may end up in the series later, and things in the series later may end up in this game. So the games and the series are definitely connected in more than just character and names. It states that there's going to be new enemies. Now, new Grimm variants is probably definitely going to be one of the main highlights of this game. When I played the playable demo at RTX, all the Grimm creatures that I went up against were Beowulfs, Crawlers, and Ursa. There were no Deathstalkers or Nevermores or King Taijutsus or anything else along those lines. It was just those three basic Grimm. And you know what? That was fine during the playable demo. But in the full-on game, we're probably going to get more and more Grimm variations. Maybe bringing in a King Taijutsu boss, or maybe two Nevermores, giant Nevermores, like as a boss round. That'd be really freaking cool. But we're also probably going to get new variants of sort of throwaway grunt style Grimm. Now, a few months ago on Scott's Twitter, he stated that he was programming his first ever 8-leg walk cycle. Now, to me, that instantly screamed, there's gonna be a spider type Grimm. And good job on you, Scott, for creating something that will scare the ever-living hell out of me. So I look forward to seeing new Grimm variants and just killing all the types of Grimm that we've already seen. Not only that, but it states that there's going to be a new villain that's going to come into the fray. Now, is this villain going to be maybe just a petty criminal or somebody who's kind of taken control of the Grimm creatures in some sort of strange plan to destroy the Kingdom of Vale or something like that? Is Roman Torchwick and Cinder going to have some part in it? Well, I guess only time will tell, my friends. And it also states that there's going to be entirely new locations in this game that have not yet been seen in the series. Now, of the clips and the screenshots that I've seen in the game so far, it seems that some of the arenas that you're going to be battling in are the Emerald Forest and maybe Mount Glen, and some form of ancient ruins. Now, I couldn't really get anything else other than that, but new locations instantly scream new information about the world of Remnant, so I'm excited to see what this game has in store. And now we come to my personal thoughts on and predictions on what the game is going to be. Now, as I stated, at RTX this year, I got to play the demo, and to be honest, the game was beautiful. I'm not normally a big fan of action-adventure hack-and-slash games because it gets real repetitive after a while. But this game, it compensated for that because it felt very fluid when you attacked, and the combo system was definitely improved on. In the first build of Grimm Eclipse, when Jordan Scott just created it as a fan game, I found the combo system to be very, very complex and very, very hard to grasp. But in the actual game demo that I played at RTX, it was simple. It was basically just a few buttons you push to create certain attacks and to create certain combos, which made it incredibly easy for me to grasp and for me to enjoy. I played as RWBY during my time, and it just felt so nice to do an awesome move where you slice up 3 Beowulfs with your scythe just to do an awesome backflip up into the air, turn the scythe into the sniper rifle, and just blast a 4th Grimm completely away with a giant blast from the rifle. It just felt so great, and unfortunately I didn't get to play as any of the other members of Team RWBY because those lines got real long on the other days. But I, for one, am super honored that I got to play as RWBY during the demo at RTX. Now, here's some things to think about. It states on the Greenlight page that you get to play as Team RWBY, Ruby, Weiss, Blake, and Yang, but it doesn't make any mention of Team Juniper or any other characters. Now, are there probably going to be other playable characters? Most likely, yes. In the game, maybe later on in the story, you'll get to play as Team Juniper, or you'll unlock them once you complete story mode or something like that. But the fact of the matter is that the development team of RWBY Grimm Eclipse has not mapped fighting styles for every single character. And they did state at their panel that they may be releasing new characters as forms of DLC. Now, I know if you're anything like me, you hate those 3 letters, and you hate everything it entails. DLC is something that can really bring down a game, and I'm hoping that Rooster Teeth Games doesn't jump on the DLC bandwagon like other game companies have, where, oh, you want part of a game? Well, we charge this much money for it if you want it. I would like it if RTX game, like Rooster Teeth Games, made it so, like, updates came up that unlocked new characters and that was free. That would be amazing. But then again, they have to make money on the deal. So, in some ways, DLC is good, and in some ways, DLC is bad. I'm just hoping that if they plan to put out DLC that unlocks new characters, or new locations to fight in or anything like that. That the DLC would be either free or properly priced and rationed. I mean, think about this. What if in the base game we only get to play as Team RWBY, so we have fun with that? But think if later on in the, like maybe a few months later, a DLC pack is either released for the game for free, or if a DLC pack is released where you can now play as Team Juniper and maybe some of the teachers and Team Coco, and like all those three things is all maybe, I don't know, what would be a proper price? What do you guys think would be a proper price for DLC? Now, I'm all for this game with just shut up and take my money, because with this game I'm fine paying for this game. I'm fine paying for it. But it's when DLC comes into the matter is when I get a little bit miffed. So I want you guys to leave down in the comments what you think is a proper and fair price for any form of DLC, if you think we should pay for it at all. There's definitely plenty of potential with this game, and with Rooster Teeth Games now starting to become an actual publisher. It's a real game publisher. No, they're not outsourcing this to a third party or anything like that. This is a game that is being created by employees of Rooster Teeth that is a game development part of the studio. So just think of it that way. And we know Rooster Teeth has always been good to the fans. Let's just hope that now that they're starting to branch out into more forms of entertainment, that they don't get corrupted by the scent of money. And I hope that they never ever do that, because they've always been sort of that shining beacon, pun intended, of that company on the internet that cares more for their fans more than the money they're making or what they're making. But until the game is actually released, that's pretty much all I have to say about it. Now, this game will of course require either a Let's Play playthrough from me or a review of the game's story in total. That way I can talk about key points in the story, and hey, maybe I'll do both. It all really matters how the future holds and when the game is actually released. So be sure to like and favorite if you've enjoyed, subscribe of course if you feel inclined to, and check out some other videos that I've done. I do a lot of them to entertain you. And to ship us off this video, RWBY, what do you think about the game? What do you think it's going to be like?